Hey guys, happy Thursday. How's it going? I'm Mike Matus here with Trep Talk. I got my good friend and my strength coach, Javier Torres. Today we want to do a video. Thursdays is all about trusting the process. I met Javier about a little over a year ago, and we've been working together. He's been training me physically, getting me in the best shape of my life. But the reason why he came to First Step Fitness and to come coach with me was because he wanted to take his specialized program and he wanted to turn it into something that could stand out in the rest of the market. Now, I immediately recognized talent in Javier, and I'm going to have him share his story so you can see kind of the process that we've evolved into now. But first, I also want to take the time to explain why I feel that the personal training industry or personal trainers is the absolute worst career that you can get into. And I'm going to explain that in a second because both of us are, I guess, considered personal trainers. So before we start, this is Javier Torres. You've probably seen him around First Step Fitness, and if you haven't, he's an excellent strength coach. Javier, give me an idea of just the background that you have, how you gained your expertise as a fitness expert, and then starting from athletes and then going into the general population, general fitness. What were some of the struggles or things that you didn't really like?
As background, started off as working in a private club, learning the system, watching people learn, teach their system, and just watching them work with people. But I moved on to Humboldt State. I ended up becoming a strength and conditioning coach. I was a strength and conditioning coach assistant, working from football to softball, soccer, teaching them Olympic lifting, from Olympic lifting, plyometric movements to explosions, different kind of movements, working with just athletes, and then gaining more knowledge of working under one of the best strength coaches in the U.S., in my opinion, Drew Peterson, learning his system and how he runs everything, learning what it takes to get into psychologically and physically, getting the kids to work for us, making sure they're doing everything right, from eating right to taking everything they need to do to be able to perform. So as far as transitioning into general population, we went on, came in with the same mentality. Some of the struggles was that some clients, people just come in, want to do the same thing every single day, and not trusting the process. We would say most in their head they think that what they think is the right thing to do. So that was the most challenging thing other than working with athletes coming into working with general population.
So you bring up a good point, and let me stop you right there so we can kind of expand on it. Would you say that the majority of personal trainers, strength coach, fitness people have an athletic background? Like they find fitness or they want to pursue either personal training or fitness as a career as of starting for a love in sports? Yeah,
definitely. As far as people that I know and people that are in the fitness industry that I talk to, most of them find it because it gives them that edge, that sports game, trying to work with the team, work with people.
So you heard it from an expert. To set a precedent, we start in the fitness business because we want to continue that love of sport, right? And somehow it gets almost marginalized as we grow up and get to the general population of fitness. Now, this is not the client's fault. This isn't the consumer's fault, right? This is merely like I don't blame it. If I blame anything, it's marketing, right? And marketing can be good and bad. So let me ask you then. You have a great career at Humboldt State as an athlete and as a strength coach, and you start working in gyms, right? And these people, they look up to you, they trust you, you get them in great shape. So then what goes wrong? Like for you, why not just keep doing that? Is it you couldn't make enough money? Is it you felt like you weren't making a difference? Like what were the things that really got to you as far as wanting to switch, wanting to make a transition? We met because there was an issue, there was a problem, and we course corrected. So what was that issue, if you wouldn't mind like sharing for people?
As far as my issue was that I couldn't get my system out there, and to more and more people. I felt like there was more to what I could do for, as far as more than just athletes. I wanted to tap into the general population so they could see what the system was, but the most challenging part was learning how to put a package together, how to market myself, how to create something that people understood. That was always my biggest challenge until I came for Step Fitness.
Okay. So here's the thing, guys, is I'll tell you right now, and I want to make this quick. Javier came in and I told him one thing. If you want to work with us, first thing, you're not going to be an employee, you're going to be a partner. And the reason why, this is the only model, the only industry I believe this model works in. Everybody has to be an entrepreneur in fitness nowadays. Other industries, maybe you can get away with having, 7 different layers of management. But it's just not the case. It's too much of a tight-knit culture. Now that may put me at odds with a lot of other fit pros, but let me explain why, okay? Personal training is no longer a career. It's not a career. It's a job. Every fit pro, there's a difference between a fit pro and a personal trainer. Every personal trainer I know, and maybe you can agree with me here, maybe you know someone that I don't, that is every personal trainer usually has 2 or 3 jobs or works at 2 or 3 gyms. They can't make all of their income getting paid from one source, from one gym. It's just not possible anymore, right? So if you're thinking that you're going to work at like an Equinox, or you're going to work at a sports club and you're going to make $150,000, it's just not going to work, right? And there's a reason for that. It's because it's an outdated process. You see, fitness professionals and strength coaches, and all of your time at Division I, college, wherever you've been, did you ever refer to yourself, or did any of your colleagues ever refer to yourself as personal trainers?
No.
Strength coaches.
Strength coaches.
See, that always baffled me. Like, sure, personal trainer, Mike. I'm like, no, I'm a strength coach. There's a difference, and we have to educate the market as to why that is, right? Personal training is an outdated process. Like, people like Javier, other talented fitness professionals, strength coaches, you get marginalized by calling yourself personal trainer, because personal trainer means when my 25 minutes are up or 35 minutes are up, if I didn't do arms or back or whatever I had to do, don't talk to me about psychology, mindset. I don't want to know about, the competitive edge, or I want to come in here, I want to get a good pump, and I want to bounce. Sound all right?
Yeah, definitely.
Pretty much, right? So that leads me to the third point, and sorry for my messy handwriting. Personal training has become a commodity. And this is why I told Javier about a year ago, trust the process. This is what I devoted my life's work to being, is helping entrepreneurs, but more specifically fitness entrepreneurs, like this man right here. Very talented person. So good, in fact, that I hired him myself to train me, because I was like, dude, I haven't seen half the stuff. This system that you talk about, right? The system that we're creating and help packaging for him, it's legit. The problem is, if you go right into the meat of the market, you're competing with personal trainers. It took you what? Almost a decade to get all this insight and expertise?
Yeah, definitely.
Most personal trainers on average have about 4 to 5 weeks of experience before they start training people. There's hundreds of websites that will certify you in a weekend. And you're a trainer, and you're playing the same game that people that honor their craft are playing in. This is why I think this is a skewed market. It's a skewed perspective. You're a commodity, which means you can't differentiate yourself, which means if you're putting up hashtags, if you're marketing yourself, personal training, if you're selling sessions, then you're going to look, act, and feel like everybody else, regardless of how talented you are. I know it sucks, but it's the truth. And Trep Talk and being an entrepreneur, I want to give it to you straight. Is that if you're a personal trainer right now, you should fire yourself. If you're working with a personal trainer, fire him too, or give him a chance to rebrand and become a fitness professional, or a fitness entrepreneur, or a strength coach. Show them this video, because what happens is that trainers, and we've talked to, more dozens, probably hundreds now. You guys, we get burnt out, huh?
Yeah.
You get burnt out. You're like, man, this isn't worth it. Like for the impact that I'm making, like I've personally seen this man change at least 50 people's lives since he's been here. I'm talking major transformations. And then it's like, okay, now that I've lost 50, 60, 70 pounds, like what next, Javier? And they're committed, right? Yeah. This was the takeaway in my business, is that I started bringing in people that were just interested in getting fit. It didn't start out like that. Like I started out like you, like fitness, strength coach, wanted to work on the complete individual. And somehow, like through whatever, having to pay the bills or whatever, like we get in this space where all of a sudden we're just talking to people that are kind of interested in working out, not really committed. So when we're telling them to do stuff, they're not as committed as our clients are now, right? And it's a slippery slope. And so you can learn from experience. Like I didn't always do the right things, but I learned quickly because I had great coaches. Personal training is not a career. It's an outdated process. It marginalizes fitness professionals, true fitness professionals, because true fitness professionals want to work on the entire human being, the complete wellness package. And then 3, it's a commodity. You're not going to make money in it. It's always a race to the bottom, and they're always competing on price. So if you're smart, in addition to learning more about fitness, in addition to learning more about the body, like do a 1-for-1 ratio now. So for every biomechanics books or kinesiology book, pick up one on marketing and entrepreneurship, because it's the only way that you're going to weather the storm. It's the only way you're going to innovate and disrupt, because if not, it's a race to the bottom, And I hope that's just a straight shot, no chaser. I don't mean to offend anybody, and if I did, like look it up. Any fit pro worth his weight will corroborate with this information, right? And so Javier, like if you want to tell him a little bit about what you're doing now and like where you were, and then now where you're at. Like what's your goals and what you're on track to do?
Well, when I first started, I had a goal of making, say, about $50,000 for the year. As far as and I didn't know anything. I didn't know any marketing. I didn't know what my value was. And as far as where I'm at now, from a year ago, I'm on track to making about close to $100,000 this year. That was my end goal, was to make 70. Now I'm beyond that. Just as far as learning, trusting the process. I was first skeptical. I didn't really have any sense of marketing, any sense of business, because I had no one telling me that before. I didn't know really what my value was. So I met Mike Matus, and this guy completely changed my mentality. And since then, everyone I speak to, every time I talk to someone, they see that they see my value. They understand what I'm trying to come across, the way I talk, the way everybody listens to me is because they see me as something that's valuable to them.
Perspective.
That gives perspective. Everything, they value my time. They'll be here no matter, whenever they say they'll be here on time, because they know how much of value I am to them. And since my mentality has changed, it's gone a long way. As far as my business, the way I train, the way I coach, the way I communicate with everyone, it's been very, 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 very big change for me.
Well, you start respecting your own time, your own value. They start respecting it. It's a win-win process. The biggest thing when I told Javi, and he was like, "Wait, what?" Like, I told him one thing when I met him. I said, "Great, I'd love to work with you. Welcome to the team. You always have a position here." Notice I didn't say a job, a position, a partnership, a place at the table. And I said, "But there's one thing here. As fitness professionals, we don't work for money." Looked at me like, "Wait, we don't get paid?" No, I said, "We don't work for money." Here's the thing, is I've always started my partners out at a base salary, right? $20 an hour. And the reason why, you might say, well, that's not a lot of money. You're right. But winners win. This guy's a winner. So I said, look, $20 an hour, but I'm going to give you a rev share, and I will personally back you, invest in any innovation, ideas, anything, up to a certain amount. right? So you say you want to bring a product to market, I'm like, cool, I want partners. And here's why that's important. And it might not work for everybody, but it works in this scenario. Because I noticed that when trainers work for money, they're always at a disadvantage. See, when you're working at a club or a fitness, 24-hour fitness, this is how they used to get all of the good trainers. They pay you 20 and then they give you 22 and then 25. And since you got some bills to pay or whatever, you kind of lose that resourcefulness, right? But you went out and I didn't do anything. This guy went out and did it. How many people did you just change their perspective? You went and hustled. You marketed yourself. You did everything. We just provided the platform. That's what makes it so great. That's what makes me so proud of this guy. Is that I just kind of gave him some insight and he went out and did it. I can only take credit for showing him the way. I didn't do anything. I didn't do the work. He did it. So that's the thing, is if you're working for money in the fitness industry, you're going to always be working for money. That's the one thing that will always kind of control you, which means someone can always go out and give you a little bit of a raise and just say, okay, you'll just take it. But if you're working for something different, if you really want to change people's lives, the value is there. You'll create the value and people will invest in your programs. You just have to point out that you're different. You have to package and position yourself as something unique. And then you can go out and you can stand alone and create a business, a real business, not a time for dollars exchange. Okay? Thank you so much. And I really appreciate you guys stopping by. I know this was a little bit longer than normal, but I wanted to give you Javier's story and I wanted to help you guys really see personal training and fitness professional. There's a difference. All right? Thanks, guys. Catch you next time.